There we go. Hey, welcome everybody. Honest Abe here, broadcasting live from Smoke Inn. Getting ready to start our Tatuaje virtual event. It's kind of been going on for a few days. This is the official Herf show. In studio is the man I like to call Mr. October, right? All things Halloween. This guy owns it. He made it. He created it. And our special guest for the evening in this Herf, none other than the man himself, Pete Johnson.
What's up, Abe?
What's up, Pete?
How you been, man?
Good. Also in house is our trusty buddy there, the Southpaw from South Philly, Alex Cavella.
Oh, we went with the KMA name.
Right. And I think we got somebody knocking on the door.
And there. We do.
Oh,
we do.
No.
Wow.
Oh, no. That's scary.
Wow. That is our personal
What's up, guys?
Florida guy.
I love it, man. You're in your basement.
Yeah, I'm in my basement.
I mean, everybody's been waiting for this all week. Let's face it. Cool event, right? I mean, look, we keep trying to make weird things. It kind of was a little chaotic. It was a little hectic, but, you know, Pete's always been supportive and trying to make crazy shit happen. And it was fun. You know, it was a little bit of pressure the last few days, and orders will be going out. We got a lot of, in fact, Pete just shipped me a big order today so we can get a bunch of stuff out. But we plan on having fun tonight, having good conversation, smoking some good cigars.
Absolutely.
And going to talk about it. So just curious, Pete, I know you said, well, Hernandez, now we got two Petes. This
right.
is gonna be, you were getting
Call him Peter.
What are you drinking? Where's your cigar?
Peter. Cameras in front. There you go.
Got the Karloff.
Karloff.
Nice.
New one. I'm Moscow Muling today. Off the Bloody Marys, off the Irish coffees. I had a rough day.
Tequila.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the tequila's been your thing. You're still enjoying
Stevie.
it.
Ah, the brothers Hernandez.
Oh, what's up? The better half.
Hey, Abe, I have one complaint.
Yeah.
I don't have one shrunken pumpkin in my house. You have them all.
I know. We had to listen.
Just a note: we are not smoking shrunken pumpkin.
No,
we don't believe there'll be any left.
Well, see, that's the problem. I would be smoking one if I had them here.
Listen, I'm not BSing you. I said to Alex, you know, what do you want to smoke to the event? He's like, you want to smoke a shrunken pumpkin? I looked at him and said, oh, what? No, we may not even have enough. We may not even have enough. In fact, we wanted to continue getting orders out. And dude, I can't believe how fast that got here. You got that package out yesterday at what, 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
It was in our shop about 10:30. But had you not made that, our man Peter Hernandez was willing to go pick it up and drive it up here to get all those orders out. So that was that was a very awesome offer by you, brother. Thank you. So I want to start with something. I want to start with the Monster series and Halloween. I want to talk a little bit about it, right?
Yeah.
So, look, this has been a thing now that's been going on for forever. And, you know, people have been trying to jump on the bandwagon, coming out with their variations of Monsters or Halloween cigars and whatever. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'm at the other end of that spectrum too, where I see people kind of doing exactly what we're doing, whatever. Does that bother you, or do you just take that as, hey, look, man, my motto is, as long as they're the ones copying me and I'm not the one trying to copy everybody, I'd rather be in that position.
I agree. I mean, obviously, you can't own a holiday outright, and sure, people are going to jump on it. The lucky thing that I did early on was I registered the name Monster and the name Halloween in the cigar market. So
nice.
I do have a problem when I see people, if they do market a Halloween cigar, I just hope they don't market it as a Halloween cigar on the packaging, because then I have to get involved with a whole different aspect of calling people I don't like to call too often.
It is one of the frustrating things, but I mean, look, I think in the cigar verse, it's hands down. No, you know, it's like, you know, well, it's an argument like the GOAT, you know, which, you know,
yeah, right. Exactly.
But, you know, it's very hard to contest that. And you have earmarked Halloween and Halloween themed cigars and have done it incredibly successfully. And I gotta believe that this look, just like us and anybody who's passionate, we like to do cool things, and it always sometimes is a headache, right? I mean, I imagine like this event, as much as I wanted to create cool packages, make something awesome, get people excited, which we did for a lot of people. You know, some people got upset because they didn't get what they wanted, and I think you got to go through that every October.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this October was a little easier because it was a kind of a spin-off of the Monster series. Next year is the big year because I start back at 1 with Frankenstein, but I have a couple tricks for mid-year that includes a very large sampler.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's going to have a special
teaser?
item.
Is that a because you know William Cooper won't be happy?
No, I'm actually smoking a new version of the hide right now, and I have a new size of Chuck that I'm going to get into, and a new size of Frank that I'm going to get into. These have nothing to do with full-size monsters. The full-size monsters are completely different. These are something we're going to be calling the Monster Mash.
Oh, I like it.
And there's going to be one cigar in the box that's only available in the box. It's a monster I've never done before.
Nice.
But it will not become a full-size monster.
Nice. So is this the first time you've talked about it publicly? Is this breaking news here, or has this been out there already?
Well, Pete Hernandez knew probably, 2 weeks ago, Pete?
He doesn't count.
During our meeting. But publicly, this is the first time I've talked about it. I figured, why not? Why not talk about it? I could have saved it for Dojo on Friday, but I figured it's more fun here, right?
Much love, brother. Thank you.
Hey, you know, the guys from Dojo are going to be a little upset I didn't save the teaser for them, but I think there's a lot of love in the room between you anyways.
Eric and I go way back, man. Love those boys. So tell us the Shrunken Pumpkin, right? It came off the spin-off of the original Pumpkin. Tell us how that whole pumpkin concept cigar developed for you.
You know, honestly, it just was one of those things that tied into Halloween, and the evil pumpkin and everything like that worked. Someone else was starting something around the same time I was doing that, so it was like, okay, this is going to be a little silly that two of us are coming up with a pumpkin theme at the same time, but it didn't matter. I pushed forward with it, and it became an event-only cigar for me. We save those cigars specifically for events. We do not sell them in any way aside from the new CRA sampler has a version of the pumpkin called the Great Pumpkin. That's going to be in the new sampler that's coming out next month, along with some fabulous Fuente cigars and My Father cigars and Ashton cigars, like a great mix of everybody's premium, ultra premium stuff. And that's going to be on sale sometime. I'm hoping sometime in mid-November for obviously CRA retailers, and then of course the consumers that are looking for something fun to smoke over the holidays.
Wow.
But yeah, we don't sell them. And the Shrunken Pumpkin thing honestly came up in a conversation between you and I.
Yeah, I remember.
Like you came to me and said, "Hey, do you have anything kind of cool, something small that could work for, a good giveaway?" And instantly I was like, the only cigars I give away are the pumpkins. These are like my gift to the consumer for buying Tatuaje product. And we were talking about small cigars. I'm like, well, a small pumpkin would be really cool. So that's where the Shrunken Pumpkin thing came from.
Honestly, some of the coolest ideas are conversations you and I have had like that, the Pale Horse or whatever, where we just kind of go back and forth, and usually you come up with something awesome. That's
usually how all the best ideas come up. True.
If you're just joining us on Facebook Live, this is our Tatuaje virtual event. We're winding down a three-day sale that started Monday. The sale will go through 8:30 tonight, where we'll tie things down. This is your chance, if you haven't gotten them already, get some of your favorite Tatuaje cigars at about the best prices you'll ever see them, along with getting a free event-only Shrunken Pumpkin cigar with your purchase, one with every 5 cigars. And you're automatically entered. You can make a purchase at $8.25, and you will get raffles that we're going to do a live drawing on the air. We have 3 epic prizes. I'm just going to show them real quick. We got this beautifully signed box of the Tatuaje TAAs, the 51st.
Oh, is that the 51st?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It's the 51st on the box.
Right,
The band
51st.
might have a typo.
51st.
Right. We got this awesome Jason dress box, also signed by Pete. Pete was awesome enough in preparation for this event to come down
dude,
here.
You're giving away the Jason box. That's pretty awesome.
Yes,
That's a box that people want.
they want this one. That's why we picked this one.
Yeah, big time.
That's it. That's our only box. That's
And
all we got.
I only had one in my collection, so I thought it would be a perfect raffle item, right? And the other one, which we only had one left of, which I thought would be epic, which actually won me a signed. This is what won me a signed dollar bill today, because one of my employees was saying this was a 2015 release, and I said it was not a 2015 release. Let's put it that way. But we had 2017. How many of these boxes did you make, Pete?
600.
So this is one of 600 broadleaf collection sets from 2017. In here are 100 cigars, 10 of 10 different sizes, all in here. It's not cracked open, so I don't want to crack it. But this is awesome. Somebody's going to win this tonight. Take this baby home. So that's what's going on. So I want to talk about the pumpkin and event cigars, because I was on with Ronnie and his brother and his cousin on the Great Lakes Cigar Show yesterday. And we were talking about the evolution. Great guys too, honestly. I had a good time on their show last night. We were talking about the evolution of event cigars, right? So, if you go back 5-6 years ago, I mean, maybe not even that long ago, the event cigar was a concept that guys did to make an unbranded even stick, probably at an economic cost that they could use as an add-on at events for box sales. I mean, I think Rocky's done it for years. You buy a box, we'll give you 10 of our event-only cigars and stuff like that. And I think that was the model early on. And then somewhere along the way, and I really can't tell you who the first one who did it was, but the trend worked and it started where people said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to make our event-only cigars something really special and work on it.
I've been doing that since 2006, I think.
Well, actually, you know what? I got to give you credit.
And it was always a
the
3-pack.
The Black Label 3-pack.
Black Label. It was always a 3-pack.
So yeah, so I mean, I guess it goes way further back. I forgot about those. The Black Label, where you couldn't get a Black Label unless you came to an event. I think what made me forget about it is it became a regular production item, and I blocked it out of my head that that was an event.
I never knew that.
That was the thing. Eventually, the Black Label line started to expand. I had the Corona Gorda that was the original. I did the Robustos only for the packs, and it was always a 3-pack, and you could only get them at events. It was a struggle early on, though, because to convince people that the Black Label 3-pack was worth way more than just getting 5 regular cigars from me.
Right.
It was tough. They're like, well, why would I want to take 3 over 5? I'm like, well, you can't find these anywhere.
Right.
That evolved to the point where Black Label started, I added sizes. I started adding the size, and eventually I added a whole line to it. And I figured, okay, I'm not doing anything with Black Labels anymore. I got to move this to a different level. I've had these bands for the pumpkin sitting in Nicaragua for a long time. And eventually it was one of those situations I was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to make it an event-only cigar.
Now, how many years has the pumpkin been your event-only cigar now?
Wow. I want to say 5 or 6 now. I can't remember the first date I started using them. It might be longer than that, actually. But I started off with broadleaf as the wrapper. And then I realized that maybe enough people had the broadleaf ones, so I switched it to Sumatra. And then similar situation, I was like, okay, enough people have the Sumatras, let's move it to the San Andreas. And I've been using the San Andreas for the last couple years, but now with the Shrunken Pumpkin, it adds a whole different dynamic to it. And then, of course, the Great Pumpkin has San Andreas too, but it's a 6x52. So
with the new trend now, with people doing like what we do, you know, maybe not the same as we do, but you know, all the virtual events that are going on, right? Because look, I mean, you weren't one of these guys that traveled a lot. So when you did an event, people came because you weren't as available as everybody. You didn't travel as much as, I mean, very few people have the rock star tour pass like Rocky used to back in the day. Like, you know, he'd do like, you know, 20 events in 30 days. I mean, it was insane.
It's crazy.
But now that these type of events, and it's easier to do, you could do them from your home, you know, whatever. Do you feel that you may have to change your event only cigar because there'll be more and more events and more opportunity for these guys to get it? Because some other people's models are to change them every year or two. I was just curious what your thought on that was.
No, yeah. I mean, obviously the plan, I made a very limited amount of the shrunken pumpkin in the San Andreas. We call it the Calabaza. As far as like the San Andreas version is called Calabaza. The Sumatra one is actually called Pumpkin Spice. So you might see a shrunken pumpkin spice. You might even see a shrunken pumpkin broadleaf version later on down the line. I mean, yeah, I like to change it up, especially for the virtual things. Again, we made X amount, and probably when those are done, I'll switch it to a different version.
You know what just came into my head? I know you're gonna laugh. Ready? The pale pumpkin. He's laughing because I know he likes it. I don't know what it'll taste like. I don't know what it'll taste like, but I like.
Well, that blend. You know, honestly, that blend in a Connecticut would work, but it would be punchy, very much like the Pale Horse was. That Pale Horse was a punchy cigar.
It was.
It was. It'd be interesting.
Like it kind of like, I'm actually excited to see how the Pale Horse changes in like a year from now, because technically it's only been out for what, 8 months or something like that, 6 months?
I mean, we're coming up on a year, Pete.
Yeah.
Not too far away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been that long. And there are lucky people who are able to get some Pale Horses through this event. And I don't know if there'll be really very few left. I mean, these will be going into my personal archive stashes, whatever is left from this event.
I might need to steal a 3-pack from you so I can actually taste another Pale Horse again.
Done.
Because the key is to really try these cigars when they're aged.
Yeah.
And when the Pale Horse came out, yeah, they had a few months of age on them. But
they were young.
I want to see how that they marry together. I don't think I have anything in my portfolio that actually would mimic that's got enough age on it to really get a clear idea. So plus that size on the Pale Horse was really cool. Well, actually on the Chaos in general.
And another one of just our little going back and forth banters with, you know, hey, what do you think of this? I like
the best part, I was actually in Nicaragua during that banter. So
yeah.
Some of the best ideas come from text messages from friends while I'm out of the country.
Seriously. I mean, most of our conversation typically is text messages because we're both on the go, and it's just so much easier than trying to stop and have a full-fledged conversation. But speaking of Nicaragua, when's the last time you've been down there?
It has been since March 14th was the last time I was actually in Nicaragua. I came back from a trip with Jaime, actually, March 14th. He's been back twice since this whole pandemic has started. And, I don't know. I mean, honestly, we'll see when I get back. Everything's through either Zoom or email or text message to the factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a story you hear a lot. Either guys haven't been there since March or been stuck there since March.
I mean, I don't mind it, but there is something about being in the midst of it, in the middle of all that tobacco. But honestly, I actually enjoy the fact that I get to taste the samples coming here and landed here, because I get a better idea of what they are going to taste like, because in Nicaragua, we're smoking so much and smelling all the other elements around us with all the tobacco being worked, that you don't really get the true appreciation of what the cigar tastes like until you leave the country. And then you have to try them again when you get home anyways. So I'm getting a better idea now of like, okay, yeah, they're rocking.
I want to bring that up because you kind of, I don't know if you meant it or it's exactly what you meant, because there's always been this theory that I've heard from many manufacturers, right? They want to taste test their cigars here and not in the manufacturing country, because before it goes to market, especially because supposedly something happens in transit where the flavor does change. Now, do you agree with this theoretical principle that I've heard many times, or not?
I agree, but it's weird because I taste it as soon as it comes off the bench. I taste it within the week that it's off the bench, and then I taste it within the month when it's off the bench, and then I taste them even a few months later while they're here in the United States. So I'm tasting it in both ways, but I do believe in what we would call in the wine world bottle shock, where things change when it hits a different hemisphere. Like shit happens. Like
Right.
I went to Cuba one time, and the first cigar I actually had in Cuba was one of my own cigars that Jaime had brought a box down to Cuba with him, and of my own cigar. So when he picked me up at the airport, I was actually smoking a Coho Nu 2003 at the Havana airport, and it was wild how I had a different perception of what the cigar was, because now I was in a totally different area.
Wow.
So I believe it changes. But to be honest, like if you have a blend that is complete crap, it's not going to change to the better at all. So,
I mean, it's not going to go bonkers extreme, but there's been subtle differences.
Yeah, well, we made a cigar. Actually, I had the factory make me 20 cigars of a particular sample I just wanted to play with. And I realized it's a cigar I had made in the past, but I realized whoever bunched it and put it together used a strain of tobacco that made the blend bad. So I know that all 20 of those cigars are bad. And I actually told my wife this. I said, I have 18 of these cigars left, and I don't want to smoke them because I know that they're not good. So you never know. That's why we constantly, even though we make samples once, we'll make them again and again to make sure that they're bunching it correctly and the cigars are coming out before we say, okay, put them in production.
Right. Makes sense.
The big fear is missing something. And the next thing you know, the whole batch is screwed, and you don't realize until after it comes out.
So while I got everybody on here, I'm just curious because I'm trying to read the text, the chats and talk. If you had to have one monster cigar, which was your favorite? I want everybody's answer.
Does that mean I have to unmute Pete Hernandez for this?
Yeah. I don't know why is he so small on my screen.
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
What did you do to the camera?
Pete's a frank guy.
He's muted. Does he not know how to unmute himself?
Hear me?
There you go. What's your favorite monster?
The Michael is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the Michael is one of my favorites.
How did you shrink your camera? You think that makes you like smaller?
No, he turned his phone sideways.
I know. I'm messing with him. let me see if I can turn my laptop sideways, see if it works for me.
No.
No, still got a big fat head. So what's your favorite monster, Pete? You've probably been asked a million times, but I've never asked you and I never heard it. So if you have to pick one, right? You're on an island. I got one monster. I get one monster. I get to pick one.
If I had to take one, I don't know, man. I probably would go back to the original because that's the one that started it all, which is Frank.
Frank.
Yeah. If I could only take one, I would have to go with number one, which is the Frank.
It's funny because you're emotionally tied to your choice, and I am too. I'll tell you why too. What about you, Alex?
Me too. I'm kind of emotionally tied to my choice, which would be the Face, because that's when I first got into the whole monster series, and that was the first one I had.
I know mine is probably going to be I've been reading the comments. No one has mentioned the one that's mine, so I'm probably going to be alone on this. Oh no, here's one. It would be the Drac.
Oh yeah.
I really like that cigar, and I think that was the only time we were ever the Unlucky 13. So that was like
So yeah, it means something to you,
right. That was like the first time we got to be the Unlucky 13. So it was very cool.
I always get a little, like when I do samplers of these monsters, I always get a little torn on which one out of the sampler is my favorite, because the dynamics change as soon as you change it into these new formats, right? And I have to go through every one of them, and one always sticks out more than the other. So I think one year I was playing around with a small version of the Kruger, and that just stuck out really, really good for me. But right now, so far, I've only been through about 6 of them, and the Wolfman and the Frank have been standouts for me.
Yeah, that's what's interesting in this whole thing. When you originally thought of this project up, did you think it would become like basically it's a national, I forget the word, I'm blanking out, but it's a cult, it's a culture, it's a culture within our industry, without a doubt. Did you think it would become like that?
No.
Did you think
I had no idea.
A simple Halloween theme would have created all that?
No, because I mean, honestly, you think about it, you're like, okay, the first year, no one really wanted them. Like, okay, people wanted them. There was a few guys that got like 8 boxes of Franks. I think the Hernandez brothers ended up having a huge collection of Franks themselves. No one really wanted them. And I figured, okay, it's a fun way for adults to trick or treat. And then I realized, of going to Big Smokes all these years, realized that grown men and grown women love to trick or treat still. That's why a lot of them still get dressed up with their kids and go out, because they want to be part of this whole culture. So it turned into one of those things that people looked forward to every year. And of course, a lot of people got angry every year because of the distribution of it, or they couldn't get it. So I've always struggled with how to package the cigars. And then this year, when we did all dress boxes on the Karloff, now everybody wants all dress boxes moving forward, which might be a little bit of a problem for the might be a little bit of a problem for the factory. But I still want to make it collectible, though. Like the dress boxes, okay, if we're making 5,000 dress boxes, the collectability part, trims down. So I still want to have some maybe other thing out there that the diehards can still go, okay, I have it and no one else does.
I think the Karloff boxes are badass. I like it.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. I have to continue making the coffin shaped box though. The traditional vampire coffin, because I actually have a trademark on that.
Got to keep it in use.
Yeah.
Got to keep it in use. Somebody wanted to know, I saw it up here. Are you still making lighters with LE Blue?
No, we stopped. I think the last one we did was the Bride, and they wanted to do a couple more, but I said let's take a break for a while and revisit it later. Originally, it was DuPont, and then when the people who were actually the distributors for DuPont lost that distribution, ended up gaining the LA Blue distribution, and they started doing the LA Blue lighters.
Has the accessories been just as sought after as the cigars?
I would say in a small level, not as crazy, obviously. No one needs to collect, 13 different lighters or whatever it is.
I saw posts this week of guys who had them.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I saw posts this week. Somebody PM'd me like their collections of. I said, all right, dude, I give up. Yeah.
I know, Vince Rubio Beans. He's literally looking for every lighter that we've ever made. I think what he's looking for now are like the last few, like Jekyll and Hyde, and then the 10-year anniversary Tatuaje one that DuPont, that was the DuPont Extend, or whatever they called it, the DuPont Extreme or whatever. And then he wants one lighter that is impossible to find that I made that had sterling silver fleur-de-lis on it, that I don't think anybody has. If they have it, they're going to want some money for it.
Do you have one?
I might have
Do you
one,
collect
but
your
it's
own
not,
shit?
it's
That's
not
my
working.
question. Do you collect your own shit?
Yeah, I have a huge collection of monsters, actually, like a big collection. That's why I'm able to pull out old boxes for stuff like this.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we pulled out our stash. You know, I mean, we were pulling. You were looking at some of this stuff like, where did this come? We got our own stash too. You know, I mean, during these times when you're trying to create stuff, you know, stuff like my future rare and vintage is less important. You know, we gotta make some hype. You know, hype kicks you in the balls sometimes. I remember. I don't know if you remember this chaos, right? I remember the first time I thought, so I got a lot of customers, right? And the problem is that when your reach keeps growing, like my company, knock on wood, our reach is continually growing. It makes doing stuff like this even harder. You know, it's a lot easier when you have a smaller audience. So I'm going back way early in the day, so we couldn't have a fraction of the following we have now. But we decided to do an Easter egg hunt, right? So we put, like, I don't know what it was. I think our allocation at the time might have been 35, 40 boxes. We put them all up on the website, all in different pages.
Yeah.
You didn't know what page it was on. You had to troll. You couldn't search it. You couldn't find it. You had to troll every page. So we worked on this whole thing. My guys spent days hiding them and whatever. Thinking, okay, we'll throw them up there, and hopefully in a couple of weeks, everybody will find them. It lasted 27 minutes.
Yeah, but didn't your server crash that day too?
I don't know if that was the one. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of server crashes over my career. But
including today?
7 minutes.
Today we were fine.
We sent out emails to everybody, and like, dude, I got this email an hour ago. They're all gone. There was people that were livid. Livid. We couldn't imagine in a million years that people would sit there and troll random pages.
I couldn't imagine from going from the Frank, where it was pretty easy to get as many boxes as you wanted, to the next year, where now it became like this madhouse that I have to get a box. I didn't foresee the quick jump,
the spike.
Yeah.
So then we got smart. The next year when we started doing it, we only put 5 up a day, and we did it across a week, right? So we put 5 or 6 up every day. When they're gone, they're gone. At the next day at noon, another 6 will be hidden, and then it just became too much work for 40 boxes. Just you try to think of stuff.
I had that conversation with actually Steve Hernandez today. Like, when your growth and your scale and your reach is so big now that when I send you 5 boxes of something, it's like kind of like a waste of time. Right? It's actually more work than it is good.
Yeah, well, look, we have major growing pains. Anybody who's walked into our store physically in the last 3 days could seen it. I mean, half our retail floor area is now fulfillment center. And
dude, that fulfillment of your cigar of the month is impressive. That's crazy. I saw that little video clip that you had out.
Oh, it's becoming insane. And we're in desperate need of a warehouse. I was just on the phone with the contractor. Hopefully we're praying to get a February, early March opening, because we're dying. We got 10 bags of big bags of popcorn today. We filled up our rafters, and we had to throw big six of them outside. We had nowhere to put them inside the shop.
Yeah, I mean, we've literally had the back end of the lounge closed. We've had giant metal mail containers back there to get cigars out.
I mean, knock on wood, it's a blessing, but growing pains has its thing, so, but
and the crazy part is you're having growing pains during probably the worst year that anybody could think of having, right?
Well, the retail got hit hard. We got hit.
Yeah, retail.
Our retail door. I mean, if I had one store and the website, it would have been a little bit easier. But we have a multiple store, so our retail doors got hit hard. But the online support from our fans and new people who found us and love us, it's helped keep me not being in a fetal position during the last 8 months. Honestly, I mean, it would have been a lot. It would have been a lot rougher, but we've embraced it. We're running with it. we're very proud of our Cigar of the Month Club and the transparency of it, and the quality of it, and the service of it, and these type of events where guys like you and Saka and some other great guys have been awesome to work with us and with these kind of cool events. And it's just been a lot of fun. So we've been very embraced of it, and we hope to keep working at it. Just going to move forward. Crying never did anybody any good. Whining never did anybody any good. It doesn't. Sal Fontana, my mentor, and I know you had a chance to know him. Told me early on, if moving heaven and earth that won't change something, why whine about it? Why cry about it? Why worry about it?
Yeah, true.
You do what you got to do, and that's what we did. And knock on wood.
I think I told you the story with Sal. I was doing an event when he was working with Christian still. This is a long time ago, obviously. And we were doing an event in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Sal tripped over a curb and literally just scratched up his whole face.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't cry. He didn't say. He walked up to me and says, "Does this make me look bad, kid?" And I go, "I think you might want to get that checked, but you're still Sal Fontana."
That's exactly the way he would say it too. I just want to say to Paul DeGracco, hey buddy, fuck you. Paul says, I'd like to see Abe try to get in a fetal position.
Where are these comments that I can't say? Oh,
it's on the Facebook Live page. I know the fetal position is one that Paul DeGracco is very familiar with. So
I can see it now. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I want to talk a little bit about the PCA. Before we do, it's 7:40, so you got about 40 minutes left. If you're just joining us, we've had a Tatuaje virtual event going on for 3 days. If you haven't had a chance to go to our site and get some of the best pricing you'll ever get on some of Pete Johnson's product, do it now. The link's at the bottom there, smokin.com/pumpkin. You will not only get some of the best pricing, you'll get an opportunity to get his event-only cigar, which this is the first event with this one called the Shrunken Pumpkin. And we have some epic prizes that we'll be raffling off live that you'll be automatically entered to even if you order tonight. And we'll give away live at 8:30. So,
hey, before you get into PCA, Pete, can you tell us about this hunter? Because I'm flying through this thing and it'll probably be gone by the time we get to it. That's how much.
Yeah. So the Escaso series is based off of the original brown label Tatuajes, but what I did is I took the original old Corojo wrapper that we used to use back in the early days. The Garcia started growing that Corojo wrapper in Nicaragua, and what I did is made a different expression of the Tatuaje brown label by lowering the priming and giving it that more of that rosado claro color.
Right.
It makes the cigar blend just pop in a different way. It actually gives you that creamy character over the heavy spices and the rich chocolate notes that you get out of the darker ones. We make them in very small production. Since 2018, late 2018, we've only made 50,000 cigars of all the Escasos. That's combined in total. And we make them here in Miami. So the factory just told me the other day that they ran out of bands. So
really?
Yeah. So we won't see any more until next year. When we get the bands, they'll be able to pack them up. But they literally called me in the middle of packing and say, hey, we don't have any Escaso bands. But I love the expression of how the wrapper really changed the flavor profile of the blend. When we originally came out with it, it was a light Habano. But then as soon as that Garcia Corojo was what we call Kappa MF, as soon as it was ready, I switched it over to the new wrapper.
Right. Yeah. Even, just when we cracked the box open, I saw this and, this looks different. I want to try this. And it is. It's very different. It's excellent.
My wife was just telling me that one of our kids tested negative for COVID, which is good. That means I don't have it.
That's a good thing.
That is good. That's a plus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of a scary thought because one of the kids in his school got it, and it was someone he was close to. So I was like, okay, if this is in our house, I'm going to be really pissed.
David Clark Wayne says he's had each of the Escasos and said they're all phenomenal. So
thank you, David.
Yep. So I got a question about another cigar because honestly, I had to text you because the guy you mentioned earlier, Vince Beans, Rubio, asked me if we were getting any. I'm like, what is this? I really had to ask you about it. And, you know, you were nice enough to send us some, but not in time that we could put them up for the event. So we do have some in the shop, Vince Beans. But what's with the Kohonu Loki?
Oh, yeah, the Kohonu 2003 Series L.
Yeah.
So Loki was my puppy that passed away in early 2019 from a genetic disorder.
Wow.
And we still have his sister, Luna, that's now 2 years old. She just turned 2. Every time a dog passes, for me, it's a sentimental thing. I always produce a cigar in remembrance of that dog. And since Loki was a very powerful, 14 or 13-week-old puppy, I wanted to make a short, powerful cigar out of Miami, something very special. We have one roller in Miami that rolls them for us, and we actually pay him more to roll less per day.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why, if people ask, like, why are they so expensive, is because we actually pay more to make them. Plus, it holds a sentimental value. So, you always, people always say, like, how do you put a price on art, especially when it's your own art piece? You have to have some type of a sentimental attachment to it, and that's a lot of times where it reflects the price. So a little bit of it that's in there reflects that it's real personal, and I don't have to sell them. I'd rather smoke them all.
I've been there. I want to talk a little bit about the PCA, because you're one of the guys. There's a core group of manufacturers that are very dedicated and fond and want to support the PCA organization, the IPCPR, depending how long you've been around, the RTDA. There was a movement which I thought was a brilliant idea. I thought it was overdue, and not just to make, here's the problem. If you're going to do something like you're going to make a PCA only cigar, right? I think this is what happened with the TAA, right? It kind of got ruined. Yeah. You can't just do anything, right? You really got to make something special. So there's been a lot of breaking news about some really special and anticipated PCA cigars for 2021. And I was just curious, do you have something on the boards for PCA 2021?
I do. Actually, I have a couple things. I can't tell you about them. Actually, one of them you already know about, which is the Monster Mash.
Right.
That's going to be available at the show. I'm hoping we'll have a show, man. I mean, honestly, that's our Super Bowl, and I love being part of it, and I love seeing everybody that I don't get to see all year long. So I want to drive as many people to that show as possible, and that's why I think it's important for us to have these special items that are available for the people that show up.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with the TA. I've actually decided to kind of move away from the TA model, and I'm shifting that focus towards the PCA.
Yeah, I think
probably much to a chagrin to a lot of the TA members that are expecting me to do a TAA only cigar next year. It probably will not happen.
So people who got the TA cigar this year, it may be the last one.
Yeah, it'll definitely, if I do anything, it will not be in the quantities that I would normally do them in. It'll be much smaller, and the focus is more towards the PCA now.
How do you feel? Now, you've never exhibited. I don't know, maybe if you just went personally. Have you ever went to the TPE?
Actually, last year, so 2020, the beginning of this year, Casey, my brother, and Dan Welsh actually were there at the show with a small booth exhibiting some of our lesser expensive products, just to see if we could capture a few new retailers. But I've decided next year that I will not be attending, and we will not be attending as a company.
It's funny. I can't remember whose show. I think maybe it was on our show, KMA. Do you get this now? You're doing so many shows, you can't even remember where you say stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I said, look, I've never been there as a retailer, because for me as a retailer, I never saw any purpose of going to the TPE. Anything that I need to get done or want to see or want to do, the PCA was more than enough, or I could see why some manufacturers want to go, because at our trade show, it's predominantly A and B stores. You might get some stores, very little, but if you're looking to expand your reach and whatever, there's probably some decent B and C stores that don't come to the trade show that might be an opportunity for some people. I just find it hard as manufacturers, if we really want to create this psychology that we are something different, right? Yeah. Not the vape and the all the other stuff that's typically at the TPE show, mass market stuff, whatever. It's kind of hard to make that argument if manufacturers keep going to it.
Yeah, and that's really why I actually ended up going to the TPA. I used to go to when it was called NATO. Not every year. I would show up every few years here and there. And then, of course, NATO closed down and they changed it to the TPE. But I went last year, very last minute, or actually earlier this year, very last minute, because I found out that they put me up for a nomination for an award. And I was like, I feel bad if I'm not there.
That's what they do, Pete.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
So I went, and honestly, my wife and I were extremely shocked of what we saw, including, Jeff Borshowitz posted a picture of it, but I saw it live in person also, which was the synthetic urine booth. That was that was something that I didn't expect I'd ever see. So yeah, there was just, I don't know, the edible gummies had a bigger booth than most cigar manufacturers. It just wasn't my speed.
Right.
And I know it serves a purpose, but it's not the purpose that I want to promote. So,
agreed. Good for you. Okay, so I got a question here. The comments are coming so fast, I have to scroll back up. Here you go. Steve wanted me to ask you, Pete, if the shrunken pumpkin is similar to the MBS FK. It's the same blend and size on paper, and if there's a difference, what is it?
I would say that the pumpkin's actually a little bit toned down compared to the FK.
Okay.
The FK's got a little bit more kick to it, but it still has some balls to it, no matter what.
I was trying to see if there was any other quick questions or comments for you while we're on here.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay up on it.
Yeah, we got a lot of people, man. We got a lot of people on watching.
We got a lot of people watching.
A lot of people watching. So tell us, how long is it now that you are now kind of a Floridian resident?
Oh, that's new. That's right.
I moved here officially in December of 2018. Full time, obviously. 2019, I continued traveling on the road a lot. But I got my driver's license about a month ago. Finally. It took me a while to get that changed over. What's that?
How's the transition been? Are you enjoying the Florida life?
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes a little hot and sticky for me, but I love it, man. I think the humidity is really messing with my body though, because I have two bad shoulders, and the climate's not good for arthritis. So
has living closer to Pete Hernandez been detrimental, or?
I actually see him less, so no, not at all.
Let's see if we can get a comment.
I think the best part about me being down here, Abe, though, is being close to the Miami factory, because I get to experiment a little bit more in that factory and see the production every day instead of just seeing it every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that the one thing that caught us all off guard was, during the time of the fear factor of the FDA, that whole FDA thing is like, the creativity kind of stifled for a little bit. It wasn't one of those things that, hello.
It's our number one
drink master.
Anna here in Boynton Beach.
Anna, can you bring me one of your Irish coffees?
No, thank you. No, this was a Moscow Mule kind of day.
I know, but I'm saying, can she drive an Irish coffee down here for me?
She would. Anna would, man. She's crazy.
She would.
She would. In a complimentary kind of way.
I'll tell you, man, I had so many that day. It like, I don't know what happened that day, but I ended up coming home like having a sore throat because I smoked a few cigars, but I drank, I think, 2 glasses of whiskey and then had like 3 or 4 Irish coffees.
Well, you didn't want to eat either, so we were drinking, and we never went to lunch or anything. We were just
true.
We spent the whole. This was supposed to be a 1-hour visit. I think we spent 5 hours here. We were smoking and drinking that afternoon. So
it was a good conversation, though.
We did have fun. And look. There's certain things I get proud of, right? I really, for whatever reason, I get into it. Whether it be our cappuccinos, our Bloody Marys, our Cigar of the Month Club, Irish coffee was it. I'd gone to that Buena Vista Cafe. I was blown away by this drink I've normally hated my whole life. There were
me too.
People were lined up like they were giving it away for free. 2,000 a day, 2,500 a day on weekends. And this place was the first place in America that served it in 1952. So I studied it. I learned it. Took me 4 weeks. I ordered the same glasses that they used, did their process. And I give tribute. There's a big plaque on our bar that says, explain the whole story how they got it, and
awesome.
that we're proud to continue in the rich traditions and serving Irish coffees in the way that Buena Vista Cafe in San Francisco had done it. And I'm proud of that drink. Everybody who drinks it is blown away by that drink.
Yeah, man, I understand that, obviously with your bar business not being really that booming now that this whole thing's going on, people eventually, when everybody gets out and can go to Smoke Inn, I'm going to promote the hell out of this. It's one of the most cool drinks you'll ever have. And I think it's the cold cream on top that really freaked me out.
It's a simple recipe. What makes it awesome is the process in which it was made. That's what I had to learn. It's really simple. But it's awesome. Whiskey, coffee, 2 sugar cubes, and heavy whipping cream. But it's the process in which it's made. Now, I was really prepared before COVID. We got all our bartenders making them just right and everything. We were going to make this video, and I was determined that I was going to make Irish coffee like this local area, like hot drink, And then COVID hit, and our bars closed. And it was crazy. So once things are back and everything's kind of back in stride, I plan on doing a whole video of the process. I got clips from my video in California where the guys were making and everything.
Yeah, you were serious about it. I mean, literally, training was watching the guy on your video of how he made them at the place.
I made every bartender. No, that's not like the video. Watch it again.
Well, I'm hoping that we get through all this sooner than later, and that bar can be open and running, because I'll come up and I'll host a little party where I'll actually buy a big round of those things for everybody in the room.
Done. We will plan it.
Because they're that good.
We'll
people
plan
need to try them.
St. Patty's Day might be a good day. Just saying. Don't know if you want to wait that long. But
well, let's hope that everything's open by then.
Well, we've been open, Pete.
Well, if we can get people through the door, then St. Patty's.
The bars
might work.
The bars have been open. I mean, they got to be open. If bars aren't open by you, it's because they're just maybe not opening again.
Right.
But in late September, DeSantis laid down the law. Says anybody in Florida, man, you have the right to work. Open your bars. No county can tell you to stay closed. So obviously it took a while for people to realize we were open in the bar area. And, it's not like, we have zero expectations. I think it was going to be the way it was. Yeah. But, when you're in retail and for 6 or 7 months, you walk outside and you don't hear a sound, not a conversation, not a clatter. Your shop is like a ghost town. It's a very disturbing experience. So just to walk out here and hear people and laughing and talking and the clanking of glasses, whatever, it's great. So we'll get there. I believe we'll get there.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
I gotta commend my man Pete. I gotta ask: Are you still going dry?
He's muted the whole time. Oh, he's
absolutely,
back.
man.
Are you still been dry?
Yeah, I've been dry.
I'm so proud of you, man. I really am. I tried to get Pete one night. I was offered 3 Irish coffees because I was so proud of it. I just wanted him to taste it. He's having an audio problem. Can you mute him out?
Yeah, he's in his dungeon
Hey,
basement.
listen. Don't make such a big deal about it, all right? Because I'm just not drinking right now, all right?
It's still,
Don't get excited.
it's
all
still an accomplishment. But you
Yeah,
did me.
it really wasn't that big a deal, to be honest with you. I don't miss it. It's really not that big a deal. I've had a couple of drinks like to celebrate something. I've had one drink to toast and that kind of stuff, but it's really not that big a deal.
All right.
But my question is, are you still working on Fat Pete's Butthole Burner hot sauce?
Oh, absolutely.
We love it. We loved it up here.
Have you had his hot sauce, Pete?
No,
Do you like hot
Really?
sauce? No.
I don't even know about it. They don't
Bro,
tell me anything.
Got some of the best hot sauce I've
Yes.
had. It was epic. It really was. I told him, let's make it. Pete's Butthole
Yeah.
Burner.
Oh,
Fat
Jesus.
Pete's Butthole Burner.
You could probably sell it to Chipotle.
There you go.
This hot sauce is way above Chipotle level. It was legitimate,
It was good.
Yeah, it's
real
good stuff.
deal, awesome hot sauce. No, I'm still talking about it,
appreciate it.
man.
I'm glad you
In
like
fact,
it.
you
I'm
gotta
glad
you
you
gotta
like
bring another batch.
Yes.
Absolutely. We were at a cigar
No.
bar not too long ago, and they were doing shots of it. Well,
That's
It's
right.
not right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do shots of it. It tastes
Yeah,
good.
It's really good.
It tastes
It's really
great.
good.
I just don't know if I can.
It's
Yeah,
a little
man.
sweet on the front, and then it kicks you in the back.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
You eat hot sauce, Pete? Oh, I'll make sure I'll get you some. I have that bottle of wine for you, too. I'll
Perfect.
bring that to you with the bottle
what
of
do you
wine.
have more collection of, cigars or wine?
Good question.
Oh, by stick, it's got to be cigars, but it's pretty close. But I've been collecting forever. I was collecting before I even had the cigar brand. So
Tell me the bottle that you have that you just can't crack open. You're waiting for something, but it hasn't happened yet to crack it open.
no, I'm actually waiting for it to get a little older. Because I'm pretty easy when it comes to opening up wine. Like even when it's considered too young, I'll still open it. Like I think I have a bottle of a brand called Romani Conte, but it's not the Romani Conte version. It's a lower level of theirs, and it's just too young to drink. So, and I got it when it came out for $175, which was expensive for me, and it's now worth like $2,000. So one day I'll open it. It's just it's still too young.
When do you feel that not young time will occur?
I would say probably another 10 years.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does Yanni share in your passion for wine?
Yeah, she does. She's been to Bordeaux with me multiple times, and obviously every time that we're not drinking something like tequila, we're drinking a bottle of wine. The good thing is I do have a lot of wine that's very well aged and has good age on it, so I can open up fun stuff every night.
My wife's always been more into wine than myself. I mean, I'll drink it, but she's always like, when we were dating early on, like she would drink wine like every night. Like at one point, even said, "Am I dating an alcoholic?" But it wasn't the case. That trip we took to Napa last fall.
Napa did you in?
It did me in. It really did. I mean, I came back a little bit more hardcore. I mellowed out, but I got my coolers. And it was really cool because it reminded me of when I first started getting into cigars.
Right.
I started getting the accoutrements. I got the coolers. I started joining the clubs. I started collecting wines. We got the decanter. My wife.
Yeah, you got fancy decanters and stuff.
Yeah. What do we want to drink tonight? All right, set it out. Let it pour it. Let it breathe. And we'd have it with dinner. So I kind of got into it, but we really enjoyed that trip. That was a great trip, and that was the
Clearly,
trip.
you
It's
became
a
a
fun
wine
trip.
guy, and you brought back Irish coffee with you.
And I brought back
Both
Irish
came from the
coffee.
same trip. That stems from the same trip.
Successful trip. Successful trip. So you're right now you're in a tequila mode, and we know you're a wine drinker. Have you ever been a fan of the Browns?
You talking about the Cleveland Browns? No.
No. Nobody's a fan of the Cleveland Browns.
You're talking about bourbon and rye and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
the bourbons,
Oh,
the
no,
whiskeys, the single
absolutely.
malt.
Yeah, I have a fairly large collection of that stuff also. Single malts not so much, because I got into single malts because of Jaime. Jaime Garcia was more into single malts and I was more into American whiskeys. So I started buying a few more single malts to have around the house every time Jaime would be around. Only because he's not much of a bourbon guy. I think I gave him Pappy Van Winkle one night, and he thought it was going to burn his throat. So, yeah, I mean, I have a pretty decent collection. Not crazy though. Not nearly as crazy as the wine stuff. I have a lot of fun bottles, I would say, but stuff that I got luckily for regular retail. I didn't have to pay secondary market on it.
Do you find it funny how there's a secondary and tertiary market, like in the liquor industry, how it is in the cigar industry too?
Yeah. I mean,
I think your products have to be the most black market items that are out there.
Yeah, I always worry about that.
It's not black market; it's just a secondary market.
Secondary market, and it's funny you say that because I'll look at all these trades going on the boards, because I always see them like in Trusted Trades or all these other things. I'm like,
right.
For a while, no one was trading Tatuaje products, and then one day they started trading them. I'm like, man, now I'm not selling anything because everybody's just trading back and forth. And I'm looking at a guy paying $200 for a Frank. I'm like, I can get you a really good box of cigars for $200.
What was the grossest price you can remember on one of your products?
It has to be $3,000 for a box of Franks.
No,
really?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Did that come with a date with you for the night or what?
No, yeah, I was surprised. Actually, I would have gone on that date.
Do you ever see stuff like that and then look at your collection and says, "Oh, $3,000. I got a couple of those."
Yeah, no, I do, but honestly, I look at it and I like a lot of times, Abe, I'll be honest, I send a lot of the old rare stuff to my parents' shop up in Maine. They don't ship, they don't do mail order, so it's a destination for people. They have to drive up and get it, and my parents sell the product for basically retail, if not bumped up a few dollars to cover taxes. I think the monsters, like dress boxes, I would add like $1 per year that it was off the market. So I think the last time I did it, I think Jason's were like $19.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. Tell us about this shop. So there's probably people who are listening who might be up that way who didn't even know about it.
Yeah, it's a small antique store with 2 cabinets of cigars, and it's all a lot of regular production stuff, but also old rare stuff that I have. Like they're still selling like the 10-year anniversary brown labels that the ones that were made in Miami, not the 2 that we continued.
I know which
Nicaragua.
Exactly, yeah.
Like the Unicos and the Tainos, they still have the ones with the 10-year bands on them, the commemorative year.
Wow.
So they're always getting odd stuff because I'm a hoarder when it comes to a lot of our own cigars. Every time we have a release of something, I always put away a few boxes. It depends on the release. Sometimes I'll put away 40 boxes. Sometimes I'll put away 20, 10, whatever. But I think I started collecting a few more one year because Andy, my main guy at the office, smoked a prototype box of Barclay Rex that I did, and I didn't know that he smoked it. I came back to the room and I was like, "Where's that box of Barclay Rex?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it was really good." So I started like adding a couple more boxes. I was afraid that he was going to smoke at least one.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Pete and Steve had the similar situation. They had a bunch of Frank boxes, and they had an employee for a while that was smoking their Franks. Every time they'd walk into the office, this guy named Paul was smoking their Franks that they had collected.
Oh, wow.
So Pete's going to comment.
Pete. Here he comes. Come on.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Are those painful memories?
Hey, not only that, don't you remember that you called me one time? You were like, hey, I had these Taínos that they put the wrong wrapper on them, and it was like 100 cigars.
Yeah.
You remember that? And, bro, he was smoking those. It's like even more rare. He smoked like a whole bundle. I wanted to kill him. And he was smoking the Franks. Good. That's that bastard. Hey, if he's listening, hey, you're an asshole.
Oh my God! So there's 2/3 of the Fermunda triplets right there. That's what I've always called them.
I have a hard time parting with old stuff. You don't know what to do with them. I bought a couple of boxes of tenderloins and pork chops from you, Abe.
I was going to say you bought those from me at an event when Pete came down to do an event at our store, and Pete Hernandez bought the product from me
at full retail, pal.
Of
As
course,
it should be.
Yeah, because he wanted the swag. He wanted the swag.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. It's really to my benefit. You know, most of that kind of stuff I put in my. I'll tilt it my little thing there, and I kind of save it for guys who get way more excitement out of it than myself. Right, special guy that comes into town or looking for something special. I grab it from there. Otherwise, I just smoke what's in front of me and what I want every day. That's too much work. To I do it for business. Like I'll hoard cigars for our future rare and vintage room, but. I'm happy to smoke a good cigar anytime. I like saving that stuff when a guy walks in my office or a good customer comes in from out of town, stops by, says hi. I got some cool stuff I collected over the years that we put in there. I got Opus X in there from my first allocation ever when I got opened up by Wayne Suarez. I can't even tell you how many years ago that was. It's got to be close to 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, if anything. So, yeah, I mean, he's got some cool stuff in there. Pete, which cigar do you feel is most sought after?
Are you trying to say Patrick's comment, like example, like the drinking age? Honestly, I think maybe the original Anarchies are still up there for sought after. The OG.
The OGs.
But I'm trying. Oh, you know what? I did one for Danny Dickwich over at Tobacco Plaza in Great Neck, New York, called the Double D, and that became one of those things that people just like. Once they found out they were going to run out, they're like, "I'll take 10 boxes of them." But I don't know. I still think honestly, the monsters they're still being moved around. You see people gravitating towards these monsters. Every time they come up.
I don't see original Anarchies very seldom anywhere anymore. I mean, and that was, I wouldn't know, but I'm assuming that was by far not even close to the largest single production run you've done for any single store. Right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a big production.
It wasn't meant to be. We had already planned. I remember when I told you, look, I think everybody here, other than Alex, was in the room when we first had the discussion about doing it. I'm not sure if you were both there. It was just Steve, but I know one of you guys were there. We were talking about it, and Pete were talking about it. And we were in the old little closet office in the old West Palm Beach location. Remember that little room? We used to do. Listen, out of that little room, we used to do mail order, accounting, and operations out of that little room, and then we'd have meetings in that little office. But
I think another one that people look for is the T110. T110. That's something I made for Hawaii. That's coming back out actually.
The T110 is what inspired me. right? But I think that original run was only like 200 boxes.
Yeah, it was a real small production. It was a
Yeah,
total of actually it ended up being 400 boxes total. It was 10,000 cigars. But you surpassed that with Anarchy.
Well, I know, but I think when you first, because I remember I tried to get me some T110s, right? So when you first came out, I think maybe you only sent 200, maybe did another 200 later. But I remember at one point it was like only 200. I'm like, I can't get these; they're gone. And when I came up, and I think I told you we were going to do 1,600 boxes, 15 count boxes, 1,500, 15 count boxes. You looked at me and you went,
"Yeah, it was a big production."
I said, "Are you sure?"
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
I did that whole thing where I try to convince retailers to do less amount of boxes.
Well, you know what?
Even more special.
I'm going to tell you something, Pete. This is how special that cigar was, and me and Pete joke because we still don't know how Dojo guys didn't like name it in the top cigars in the cigar history, because it without a doubt was. But I'm going to tell you something. How interesting that was. So we did 1,600 15 count boxes. And we released it December 10th. And I think in January or February, I told you we need another run of 1,600 because Playboy magazine just asked me for a couple boxes they wanted to talk about.
Did we do, I can't remember, did we do another 1,000 though, or was it more?
It was either 1,000 or 1,500. Either we did double the run, or you did me another 1,200. But either way, it was like almost 3,000 boxes for a single store. I think we only had 3 locations at the time. Yeah. And not only do we only have 3 locations at the time, it was 2010, so it was 10 years ago. Not only do we only have 3 locations at the time, we had a minuscule internet presence. I think Anarchy was one of the things that put us on the map, right? And it was definitely, the Anarchy cigar was definitely a milestone in the smoke-in history in my career, right? That was there was multiple, maybe about a half a dozen launching things that really kind of set us up, jumped us up, and Anarchy was definitely one of them. And I'm going to tell you something. With my presence today and our reach today and our fans today, I would balk at doing a 1,600 box cigar project with anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. I think right now, our projects, we do 500-600.
Right.
1,600 was like, and then to do another
run. It was
run,
absurd.
It was absurd. It was absurd. But it was an extremely well-marketed campaign. I don't think any of us knew what we're into. That was definitely the site crashed. I remember Black Friday. That was one of our few sites crashed over the years moments. But yeah, I don't think historically I could repeat what the original Anarchy did. I don't even think I could do it.
Allison Trainer is asking, what is the cigar I'm most proud of? I still have to go back with the original cigar, just the original lineup, because that's what started it all for Tatuaje.
That's the cigar that took you a lifetime to make.
And it's also still made here in the United States, which I'm very proud of. So I love having a factory here in Miami that produces cigars for Tatuaje, because one, I know that there's a lot of pride from the rollers that roll them, but as you know, the fact that they're made in the USA is a big deal for me.
Now, I have a question. Are you still under the process of the same roller rolls certain sizes?
Yeah, here in Miami.
Yeah,
in Miami, that's the only way it goes.
Explain that to some of the people who may not know this process.
Well, I mean, the rollers in Miami work. They're Cubans, and they actually roll like a traditional Cuban roller will roll, which is they do all the bunching and rolling themselves, as opposed to Nicaragua, where there's a person bunching and then there's a person putting the wrapper on. They work in pairs.
Yeah.
But in Miami, they do all the production themselves. And there's certain rollers that are more talented at certain sizes. So, there's a guy that rolls nonstop. He'll roll the Grand Kohonu. That's what he rolls. And he's continually just pumping through Grand Kohonus. And every once in a while, there is another lady in the factory that will roll Grand Kohonus also. But she's been with us since, 2003. So she's one of those people that we can count on to kind of make pretty much every cigar, because she knows all the vitolas really well. And then there's an old guy in the factory named Renee that's been with us for a long time. He's getting a little older, and he's rolling actually what we call the Cuban sandwiches, the Series P Miami. He's the only guy that rolls those. So no matter what size it is in the Series B Miami, he's the guy that rolls it.
Really?
And that the production, the amount of rollers hasn't really, you guys haven't expanded it.
No, we went up to 12 at one time and went down to 11, went down to 10, then it went back up to 11, and now it's back to 10.
Yeah, so it's never been more than 12 people making. So when people wondering why these lines are sometimes back order, it's 12 people.
Right. Now you know.
Yeah, based on all the orders that you sent me today, I was looking at the list of how many Miami products that you needed, and I will tell you straight up, one of the orders that you got, we had 15 boxes in stock, and you got 10 of them. So, like, the inventory lately has been really short. And a lot of times it has to do with the boxes, too. We're waiting on boxes from the box maker, which are also made here in Miami.
Yeah. Packaging is always a problem. But, you know, I'm one of those guys that always like to shoot for the stars, you know, and you get burned sometimes doing it. You know, you always want to try to do these epic things, you know, bring in cars to smash with sledgehammers. And, you know, I mean,
that was epic.
That was epic.
Yeah.
That was epic. That was the Anarchy release party.
Right.
That was epic. We bought a car that we spray painted from a junkyard, and people got to take sledgehammers to it if they bought a box.
It was an Isuzu Rodeo.
Yep, a Isuzu Rodeo. Wow, great memory.
Which is really funny because the Isuzu Rodeo was my first real first brand new car that I ever got.
Wow.
And I was always convinced that maybe that was mine that just eventually got salvaged somewhere, and it ended up being at one of our events that we were smashing. So
that would have been cool, wouldn't it?
Trust me, the way cars move around in this country, I had a dent in my rear bumper on that Isuzu Rodeo that I ran into a parking pole. You know, one of those hard poles that you just randomly hit by accident. I had a dent in the back bumper. And I was actually with either Steve or Paul, Steve and Pete's brother. And I could swear coming, down the 826, I was like, I think that's my Isuzu Rodeo. Because it had the same dent.
It very well could have possibly been. So look, I want to call it now. It's 8:18. Where the event store will be open strictly for up to 8:25. So you got 8 minutes. If you're just listening and you haven't purchased anything from us in the last 3 days, go to the URL smokin.com/pumpkin. We have some incredible pricing on all of Pete Johnson's products. You'll get the event only Shrunken Pumpkin cigar in the next 8 minutes, and you will be automatically entered to win one of 3 epic raffle prizes, all signed by Pete Johnson himself. Oop, there we go. Tatuaje TAA, the 51st, and a Jason dress box. And of course, I mean, some really lucky bastard is going to win this. This is the 2007 broadleaf collection set, 100 cigars, 10 different sizes, 10 of each. Only 600 of these boxes were made in 2017. So once we close the shop at 8:25, we're going to download everybody's orders and all your chances to win this stuff. And hopefully by 8:30, our man Alex Tavella will pull up on the screen, and we're going to do a randomized live drawing, see what 3 were. But I got to tell you something. In my opinion, everybody's a winner. They got great cigars, and they got awesome, epic, event-only cigars that you graciously basically gave people for purchasing your product. So I think this is a night of winners all the way around.
No, yeah, I think so too. For me, the event-only cigar has always been that reward to and a thank you from Tatuaje for people paying attention to our products. So thank you to everybody that actually purchased, and I hope you enjoy the Shrunken Pumpkins. I know we gave a lot out, and I think we're probably going to burn through that second wave that you got, and I have a few more here in Miami, but unfortunately none here at my house to enjoy.
I just want to clarify for everybody. Yes, if you go to smokin.com/pumpkin and you buy any box of Tatuaje, you will be entered into the raffle.
If you buy a 5-pack, you still get a savings.
Correct.
You'll get 1 free pumpkin with your 5-pack purchase, and you'll get an entry to win any one of these prizes. So You know, if you just want to get an event cigar, support Pete, get a 5-pack, and be automatically entered to win one of these.
Still got a chance to win.
You'll get one chance, but hey, it only takes one chance to win. So
it's random. I'm gonna go check on the raffle now.
Yes, my man.
So Abe, Kevin Shahan, who I saw his comment here. He says, "Do you have a problem finding younger rollers here in the U.S., or does the younger generation not wanting to get into the cigar making?" I would say yes, we do have trouble finding new rollers. Younger rollers, not so bad. A lot of the younger rollers that we've gotten have been friends and family from the island of Cuba that have come over recently that we've been able to, input into the production line. And but really, Pepin has been very picky about who he puts in that factory because
I bet.
they have to be kind of under the school of Pepin, or some type of family member or friend that's worked in the factory where they used to work in Cuba. So yeah, it's really tough to find new people, and there are great rollers that are out there, but it's really about the family making sure that they can trust them, and we can find good people that will work hard for the brands. So
I guess there's a lot of trust when you got people rolling up cigars. I mean, the rollers got to know the blends, right?
Well, they kind of know what they're. Obviously, in Miami it's a little easier. They know what they're putting together.
Right.
In Nicaragua, it's a little bit more blind to what they're making. They just see a recipe number and they don't know what that number.
They don't know what the exact tobaccos are.
Yeah.
They know the proportion of this.
Yeah, they know how to put it together, but they don't know what brand is associated to that recipe. Usually, they can probably figure out which ones are mine because I usually stand in front of those tables and look at the cigars that they're making. So, especially in Nicaragua.
Holy cow! Well, this has really been an epic night tonight. Awesome times, and if I don't see you sooner, I think we're going to see you in February for the Great Smoke.
Yeah. Actually, I'm still working on that project that we talked about.
Well, like I was telling you earlier, on paper, if we pull this off, it'll be one of those things that will be a landmark, historic moment, without a doubt, for my company, if not for this industry, conceptually how we do it. But it's going to come down to execution. And of course, once again, technology. Technology always freaks me out, man. It's one thing you don't have control of. We were talking about earlier, we had a Cigar of the Month major snafu today. We still got, my motto is build today, ship today. We had to get them all out today. We cleaned up the mess, but the whole programming network just went haywire. Guys at 3 a.m. started getting tracking numbers from when they signed up a year ago. Oh, your package was delivered. It's like it was crazy. So
we got them out. We got them out today.
We got them out. Build today, ship today. So yeah, we were able to get them out, man. So how are we doing, Alex? Have you got? Oh, we got another minute. We got
another minute before we close it down, and it'll only take us a couple minutes to get everything ready.
Yeah, man.
So you're on your last minute, but that'll be the last minute for the raffle.
It'll be last minute. The page will be down. The promotions will be over.
Okay.
Yeah, the promotions will be over. It's been 3 days. If you haven't taken advantage of promotion since Monday at noon, well,
it's on you.
Yeah, sad on you. You got to go wait for the next event. But, Pete, you like a lot of other people, right? Because we were talking about this. I can't remember who I was talking about. When we started KMA, it's going on 10 years, right? And there was no video when we started. It was all audio, what really, I think, and I didn't realize it back then, but what catapulted our popularity is because I was already established retailer and the friendships I've made over the years, for me to call you up and say, hey, I want to do KMA, we'd like to get you on a show. I was able to get guys like you and George Padron and Carlito Fuente and, basically anybody in the industry. And that really wasn't prevalent, right?
Yeah.
So it really made our show very, very much, special early on in the days. But now everybody's out there. I mean, how is being so? I mean, how many shows or podcasts or things are you doing a week? Just curious.
Right now, not that many. In the beginning of this whole thing, I think I was on 3 in one night.
Okay, but you're talking about not that many compared to pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at last year,
You're talking about regular events being out there, or
just
virtual
even
events?
Just being on somebody's
podcast. Oh,
yeah,
I would do. I don't know, one a quarter or so. I think I'm way ahead of that, even in a few months span. I've done so many podcasts this year, and it's really just anybody who hits me up via email, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I got time. I mean, it's nice to be out there. I think the funnest one I did was with Carlito, his Meet the Professor with him and Jose Blanco and Jeremiah Merrifield. And
yeah,
because,
time doing
I mean, just to be associated with those three people is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I had a good time. I had a good time during that show. It was a very well done show, actually. I mean, it was nice. But I mean, like, who would have thought last year that Jeremiah Merrifield, Jose Blanco, and Carlito would have a show, you know?
And who would think that Carlito would actually jump on time?
on time. And you know what blows my mind away? He's become a huge fan of KMA. You know, for the last 4 or 5 months, I see him every week commenting
in the comments. Absolutely,
yeah, on our show. So for us, that's pretty cool. That's pretty crazy. You know,
yeah, he's out there a lot. It's actually good to see.
It is good to see.
Yeah,
it is good to see. So
it's a good family.
Historically great family, and I think that project that they're doing with the Padron family is
oh yeah, that's
right?
gonna be epic. That's gonna be awesome.
I mean, who's not excited about that?
I'm gonna buy some.
Right?
I'm excited.
Right?
I think everybody's excited about that.
Everybody, their competitors are excited. Everybody's excited. I mean, it's a great thing. So that's the cool stuff that I think that came out of maybe this year. And the stuff going on with the PCA, very cool things have been happening, and hopefully it'll still continue. Because
I think we're actually showing the industry showing to be more together, which is great.
It's like a renaissance, right?
Yeah.
It's like a renaissance era of our industry. The creativity level and it seems like the passion level is at an all-time high. So that's always a plus. AT, man, how are we looking on that raffle?
So the raffle is closed. We're tallying up, and I will have the list in just a minute or two.
Nice.
It's amazing how he's got all this shit. So he's your tech guy, obviously. Because I have no clue how to do that shit.
No. We have another tech guy, but he's the guy who knows how to run this and can do the screen shares. So he's way more tech savvy than me. Let's put it that way.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Yes. I've always been really good saying when I'm not good at something, let me at least hire somebody who is. That's important, I think, in business.
Yeah.
You don't have to be good at everything, but when you're not good at something, find somebody who is. Hire him. Get him on board. I know Steve Hernandez is still looking to hire somebody. Pete's looking very sad today.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him.
I felt like he was sleeping at one point.
I'm telling you.
Hey, being sober is not as fun as I make it look, pal.
I've been doing it for 11 years, Pete. It's plenty of fun.
There you go. That's the truth.
Michael Hamlet just asked me what I'm smoking. I'm actually smoking a new version of the Monster Mash Frank.
Where are you reading this? On YouTube or on Facebook?
I'm looking on comments in the StreamYard comments.
My thing must have froze. Oh, in the StreamYard comments.
Yeah,
that's what I should have done.
But I think those are Facebook comments, though.
I've been looking at Facebook. I haven't been looking at StreamYard because I haven't seen a new comment in forever. Now,
if you go to the StreamYard comments, you can actually see all of them scrolling down.
There you go. That's what I missed. Okay. I was in the private chat, so I had nothing but a blank white page the whole time. Look at all this. You
were in the private chat section, right?
Yeah, it was like completely different all the time. All the comments I've been reading was off the Facebook pages. That's funny.
Beans is on here now. He's actually saying, put the Frank away. Beans, I actually almost pulled out one of the new Wolfman. I know you're partial to that one.
That was a good one too. I like the Wolfman.
Alex Tucker says that we need a Monster Mash card series. Listen, I did cards for the little monsters.
I was gonna say you can't do cards, right?
Yeah, I got sued by Topps actually because the cards looked a little too much like Garbage Pail Kids. So this is back in 2012, and before I even released one box, somehow Topps knew that I was making these cards.
And it's funny because someone else just came out.
Yeah, someone resurrected the concept, and they thought it was an original idea. I go, yeah, that dates back to 2012.
Yeah.
And I actually said to him, I said, be careful, you might get a cease and desist from Topps.
I saw that. I like how they just came up with this whole story of how, like, oh, we thought of it when we saw it. It was great. It's been around forever. I
can make cards. I just can't make them look like Garbage Pail Kids.
Right. I mean, look, some of my best ideas were spin-offs of somebody else's idea. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's usually divine inspiration when you see something and come up with an idea off it. But you know, you got to be the kind of look. I mean, I'm giving Buena Vista Cafe their props for the Irish coffee I sell in my bar. I didn't create it. Yeah. I didn't do it. You know, I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. Just give the credit where credit's due. You know, I love the Garbage Pail Kids. Paul Gracco, you would love the Garbage Pail Kids. Is that still a thing even?
Yeah, dude. Topps bought it. I can't remember what year they bought the brand, and somehow they were coming out with a resurgence of it. So yeah, it's a thing.
No. Someone just slammed into my office, freaked me out for a second. What? Scared me out. Alex left us. Oh boy, now I'm in trouble. Do I gotta let this guy back in the room? This will be interesting. There he is. There he is. You're muted.
I'm here. I'm just getting the list together. We'll be ready in 2 minutes.
I didn't see your screen anymore.
I popped off because I was like in the screen looking at my screen. I didn't want to have my forehead in the camera. I'll be right back.
This will be an epic raffle, man. It really will be. This would be nice. Great way to end a good evening. A lot of great stories. And where are you at? You got anything coming up? Are you doing anything with anybody, Pete?
I'm actually going to be on Dojo on Friday.
Dojo
hit me up. I told him I was gonna promote it once I get done with your event. I'm gonna post a flyer on it.
Well, it's a great way to let people know there's 100+ people watching now. So if you want more of PJ, check him out with the Dojo.
Cigar Dojo Friday.
Friday, they start late, right? Like 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, man. I'm like, dude, I've been on some of them where they start at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm like, what? You want me to do what?
Right.
So I'm usually up until about 1 a.m. I don't mind it. It's a lot of fun. Just to be out there is enough. And the fact that people care enough to ask questions, that's kind of fun.
That's the part I've really kind of been surprised at after 8 months of this. Like, you know, I just got asked to be put on a show yesterday, and you know, you like to think they have their own audience, but then you see a lot of the people who follow you on there. It's like, how many times can I have to think of different stories because I don't want to bore people, right? I mean, how'd you get the business? Like, oh man, I've probably told this story like 1,000 times how I got the business. But I did share with them my Casey and the Sunshine Band Village People epic weekend story, which is not that told and is pretty good. So that was a good story. That was.
I think you might have said that one on one Herf we were together, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, it's a great story, man. I partied with Casey and the Sunshine Band. I opened up my dad's business late. Cell phones weren't working back then, and
nice.
You know, you can't show up late for a grocery store. It's not like you're showing up late for work, right? I need at least half a dozen people to run it. I need to call butchers. And I was supposed to be there at 7. It was like 9 o'clock. Thank God they all went to McDonald's, right? And then I got there and I opened up late and cell phones had just started. So my dad, like, it was on a Sunday after I'd partied Friday night and Saturday night with Casey and the Sunshine Band and Village People. And my dad calls like around 10:30. He says, "Hey, Did you open up the store late? I'm like, no. What do you mean? I'm here. So then he wrote it off as some kind of roaming problem, because remember when phones had roaming? But then he ended up busting me like a month later and being livid, not talking to me for a month, like it was the end of the world. I'm like, look, man, I didn't open up late because I went drinking with the boys. I was partying with KC, Sunshine Man, Village People for today, right? I mean, that could get like a semi-pass, and I guarantee you 20 years from now, you ain't going to remember this. It's funny because I tell him the story today, and he doesn't remember it at all. So I was right. But anybody who wants the full version of that story, it's pretty funny. If you go to the Great Lakes Cigar Show, I was on last night. The episode's there. You can hear the full KC and the Sunshine Band and the Village People story.
We're ready to fly.
We're ready to fly. Okay, so let's start off. First off, honestly, I want to say I love our fans. I think we got the best friends and patrons out there, man. They are so supportive. Even when crap goes haywire, they're awesome. So I really want to thank everybody who participated in this epic virtual event, who talked about it, who helped spread the word, who was on here tonight and smoking cigars and enjoying with us. Much love and thanks to all you guys out there. Awesome. Thanks to you, Pete. Thanks to the Fermunda triplet twins down there, Pete and Steve Hernandez. Those are my boys. Those are my. Hey, listen, when we needed pumpkins bad because we couldn't fulfill orders and you weren't sure if you were going to make the 4 p.m. cut, my man Pete was willing to drive it up. I had to offer him a free lunch, but he was still willing to drive it up. So much love. All right, so here we go. The winner of the Tatuaje TAA 51st autographed box is, if you can do this there.
I got it coming.
Look at my boy. He knows what he's doing.
I got to tell you, I mean, this is monster. No pun intended. We have 2,076 raffle entries.
Wow.
So here we go. Winner number 1 is number 144, and that will be
Jason
Mostow.
Let me write this stuff down. Jason Mostow. Congratulations, Jason. Jason Mostow. 151st. Congratulations, Jason. This will go out for you tomorrow. Next, probably one of the most highly sought after dress boxes. So who wins in a war, Michael or Jason? Did they ever decide that in the movies? Did they ever did they fight in the movies?
Did they? I can't remember now.
Oh, there was definitely a Michael Jason movie. I'm pretty sure there was.
Michael versus Jason?
It's not my genre. I would know, but there's definitely.
I think it was a Freddie Jason. I don't know if it was a Michael.
Freddie Jason.
I might be confused.
There might have been a Michael Jason. I can't.
I could be confused.
All right, so are we ready for the next winner?
He should have like a WWE battle royal of all of them, like one
Royal
movie.
Rumble, absolutely.
That would be epic. All right.
I'm sure if you Googled like monster image of like WWE, battle royale monsters, probably
art.
Someone probably did a painting of it,
right? Or made some art. All right, let's see who won this bad boy right here.
All right, let's get loaded up here. Go.
Dead air time, Alex. Come on.
Dead air. I know.
Hey, I'm giving this guy mad props. He's doing something I couldn't even try to do, so I can't.
That's it. That's what I want to hear.
I'm not criticizing.
All right, here we go. Winner number 2, number 1645.
Ooh, that's way down there.
That's down there. Let's do this a little easier.
I think it'd be funnier if he was actually trying to scroll on a little tiny screen than I'm seeing.
Right. 1645.
16 till tomorrow. There you go.
Here we go. 6. Damn close. 1645. John Flynn.
Jonathan. Congratulations.
John Flynn,
you're our winner. Abe, you writing these down?
I got it down. Plus,
one less thing I got to do.
Video if we forget. All right, here we go. The bad boy. Yeah. I really hope it's somebody local because I don't want to ship this box.
Hey, so Alex,
I'm
curious. like the same number can't come up again, right?
No, I take it out.
What? But here's what happens. A guy could have had 8 entries, depending.
Yeah,
on
the same guy can win again. The more you buy, the more you win.
Because if he bought a lot, he got multiple entries, so he could win twice. He just can't win twice with the same entry.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We don't want to penalize guys who made multiple purchases.
Correct.
So, this bad boy right here. Let's see who wins this.
Let's see who wins this.
Boy, Pete, you really put me on the spot by asking it on the air, because if we didn't do it that way, you would have started a whole mess. Thanks a lot.
Right.
I appreciate it.
Just trying to keep it real.
You should have asked us before we started giving away stuff. Who wins that bad boy?
Winner is 17-14. 17-14.
Uh-oh.
Kyle Willis.
Wow. Kyle Willis. Wow, he's going to catch a lot of flack from all the SNS guys.
Why is he going to catch flack? Because he was lucky?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an epic win. Congratulations to all.
Epic win. That is an epic win. I mean, honestly, I feel like that's the best raffle prize we've given out. I mean, that's huge.
That's huge.
100 cigars.
Epic win. Congratulations, Kyle. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope we entertained you. We hope you had fun. We hope you enjoyed this live virtual event with Pete, and Steve, and my
Somebody
man.
Wake up, Pete.
Huh?
Somebody wake up, Pete Hernandez. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Our next virtual event will be next month, November. I think we got 2. I think we got one with Drew Estate, but we're also got our drop of Red Meat Lovers Club 2020, the meat box. So that's going to drop sometime in November. We'll probably have Steve Saka when we do that. So peace, love. Everybody have a great weekend. If you catch Pete on Dojo Friday, check us out KMA Saturday mornings, and have a great weekend. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
See you later, guys.